I found a rare spaceship at a galactic auction, but it's scheduled to be dismantled. Evan Hale walked through the crowded corridors of the galactic auction station, his boots clicking against the metallic floor. The station hovered near the edge of known space, a massive ring orbiting a dead planet. Inside, the air buzzed with voices in hundreds of languages, glowing displays, and the hum of starships waiting to be sold or traded. Evan had been here before, but never for anything as important as today. He was a salvage engineer, a human who made a living fixing old ships and finding rare components. Humans were still newcomers in the galaxy. Most aliens looked at them as curious, clever, and sometimes useful, but not truly important. That suited Evan just fine. He didn't need anyone's approval. He wandered past rows of auction halls, each one packed with alien buyers and sellers. Brightly colored beings with multiple arms haggled over ancient star drives. Floating tentacle creatures whispered in secretive tones about exotic energy cores. Winged traders adjusted their glimmering suits, trying to hide the rare tech they had scavenged. Evan wasn't here to compete. He wasn't looking for fame or glory. He simply wanted something small, a spare hull piece, a replacement engine, maybe an old AI interface he could reprogram. His eyes scanned the auction list displayed on glowing panels. Most items had already drawn fierce bids. Hundreds of thousands of galactic credits were flying through the air like sparks. And then at the very bottom of the final listing, something caught his eye. Derelict vessel void-class prototype, status decommissioned, fate dismantling. It was a huge ship, longer than some battle cruisers, with a sleek dark hull that shimmered faintly, as if hiding secrets. The auction description was minimal. No history, no origin, no specifications, just the cold note that it would soon be dismantled. Evan frowned. Something about this listing felt wrong. Why was no one bidding? Why was a ship that clearly had advanced design features being treated like scrap? He made his way to the docking bay where the vessel rested. The alien auctioneers didn't even bother to hide their disdain. One of them, a tall, scaly creature with golden eyes, laughed as Evan approached. "You really want this?" it hissed. "This ship is useless. Failed experiment from a civilization long gone. No AI, no weapons, no cargo value, just metal. Pure waste." Evan smiled faintly but didn't respond. He stepped closer. The ship towered over him, silent, dark, and cold. Its hull was covered in markings that no alien in the auction could read. Strange symbols glowed faintly, pulsing slowly like a heartbeat. Evan reached out and touched the hull. For a moment, nothing happened. Then a shiver ran through him. A soft hum, faint lights flickering along the edges of the ship. He pulled back instinctively. "What the?" he muttered. The auctioneer sneered. "It's nothing. A dead relic. Move along, human." But Evan's instincts told him otherwise. He had worked on old ships before, and he had never felt anything like this. There was life inside this vessel, even if it was dormant. The auction began. Dozens of alien bidders moved forward for other items, shouting bids in high-pitched tones or low rumbles. But no one touched the Void-class prototype. Minutes passed. Evan watched, his heart racing. Then, almost on impulse, he made his move. He pressed a button on his wrist console connecting to the auction system. With a deep breath, he typed a bid. Low, calculated, just enough to get attention. His hands trembled slightly. He was betting almost everything he had saved for months. The auctioneer's eyes widened. The alien crowd laughed, thinking it was a joke. "The human bids?" one of them hissed. "Are you insane?" Evan didn't answer, he simply waited. The auctioneer slammed the hammer down with a metallic clang. "Sold to the human." For a moment silence filled the docking bay. The alien bidders stared in disbelief. Then, slowly, murmurs of anger and confusion spread through the crowd. Evan felt a rush of excitement. The ship was his. But almost immediately, reality hit. Ownership did not mean safety. A notice flashed on the auction screen. Decommissioning order still active. Vessel to be dismantled within 3 standard days. Owner may remove personal items only. Evan's stomach sank. He had bought the ship, but if he didn't act fast, it would be torn apart before he could even explore it. He didn't waste time. He stepped aboard the vessel. The interior was dark, cold, and silent. The corridors were wide but empty. Strange panels lined the walls, flickering faintly as he passed. His footsteps echoed in the hollow halls. Evan ran his hands over the controls. Dust covered the surfaces. The AI system was offline, sealed behind layers of security that no alien buyer had bothered to unlock. The ship seemed abandoned, but not dead. Then, unexpectedly, a screen flickered. A faint pulse of light ran through the console, scanning Evan. He froze. A voice, low and hesitant, spoke in a language he didn't understand. Then, almost miraculously, it switched to basic, the universal trade language. "Operator detected!" Evan's heart leapt. The ship was alive. The AI had responded to him. He swallowed hard. I'm Evan Hale, he said, unsure if the ship could understand his human name. "I own this vessel now." There was a pause. Then the AI responded in a voice that sounded both mechanical and human. "Operator, compatible. System awakening, restricted functions online." Evan couldn't believe it. No alien had ever been able to interface with this ship. It seemed the Void-class prototype had chosen him. He walked deeper into the vessel, exploring areas that had never been touched in decades. The ship was massive, far larger than it appeared from outside. Some sections were completely sealed, protected by strange alloys and energy fields. Evan reached the core chamber. Here, the walls shimmered with a faint golden glow. A single console projected a 3D map of the galaxy, ancient stars lighting up sectors no modern map showed. He touched the console. Data flowed into his portable interface. Hundreds of files, schematics, and logs appeared. Most were encrypted. But one record was readable. Guardian vessel purpose: protect young civilizations from extinction-level threats. Status: classified. Note: Council ordered dormancy. Evan's eyes widened. This ship wasn't just advanced. It was a weapon, a protector, a starship meant to defend life itself. No wonder the Council wanted it dismantled. They feared its power. They feared a human might awaken it. Evan realized the danger. If he didn't act fast, alien forces, or worse, the Galactic Council, would come to seize the ship. They would destroy it rather than let a human have it. But he also felt a surge of pride. He was the first human ever to interface with the Void-class prototype. The ship had chosen him, and that meant humans were more capable than the galaxy believed. He ran through the halls, testing the AI's systems. Lights flickered, doors opened, corridors shifted slightly. It was subtle, almost imperceptible, but the ship was alive, responding to him. Evan smiled. For the first time in his life, he felt like humanity had a real place in the galaxy. Not as servants, not as scavengers, but as operators of something ancient, powerful, and respected. But there was no time to celebrate. The clock was ticking. The dismantling order had 3 standard days left. Original purpose: Guardian vessel. Function: protect emerging civilizations from extinction threats. Status: dormant due to Council order. Restrictions: unauthorized operation forbidden. Operator compatibility: human verified. Threat detected: approaching forces. Time remaining: 72 standard hours before dismantling. Evan's eyes widened. The ship was designed to protect life itself, but it had been locked away because the Galactic Council feared its power. No alien had been able to operate it. Only a human could. He walked to the core chamber, where a glowing sphere floated in midair, pulsing like a heartbeat. The sphere projected star charts, ancient coordinates, and holograms of worlds that had never been catalogued in modern space. He touched one of the planets. Images of cities, forests, and oceans appeared. "Are these alive?" he asked. Target planets, protected civilizations. Records active, historical and predictive data stored, the AI replied. Evan's heart pounded. This ship was not just a relic. It was a key to the galaxy's past and future. It had the knowledge to save worlds that no one even knew were at risk. He had to act fast. Outside the docking bay, the station hummed with alien activity. Traders, council agents, and private fleets were starting to notice the ship had changed hands. Whispers spread. The human had bought the Void-class prototype. The laughter that had greeted his bid earlier had faded into murmurs of suspicion. The AI interrupted his thoughts. Operator, external sensors detect multiple vessels. Hostile intentions probable. Recommend immediate defensive protocols. Evan frowned. Defensive? I don't want to fight anyone yet. Protocol recommended. Threat assessment high. Council and private fleets aware of vessel status. 3 standard days remaining before dismantling. Probability of seizure near 100% without action, the AI explained. Evan swallowed hard. He had never faced alien forces like this before. But one thing was clear. No one would stop him from keeping the ship. Humans may have been new to the galaxy, but they had something the Council underestimated. Resourcefulness, courage, and the ability to act against odds. He accessed the ship's engineering deck. The Void-class prototype was far more advanced than any human ship he had seen. Self-repair systems covered every hull seam. Adaptive energy shields were embedded throughout the structure. The engines glimmered with raw potential, capable of speeds that would make a warship envious. Evan ran his hands over the main console, feeling the hum of power beneath his fingers. This is incredible, he whispered. You've been waiting for me all this time. The AI paused, then responded softly. Operator, compatibility verified. Species unknown previously. Human response, optimal. Mission parameters may resume under supervision. Evan nodded. Good. Then we start now. Over the next several hours, he explored deeper into the ship's hidden areas. He discovered sealed chambers, each protected by energy fields that rejected alien technology. Only when Evan approached did they unlock, revealing vaults of knowledge, alien artifacts, and starship schematics that predated known galactic history. In one chamber, he found logs of civilizations wiped out by natural disasters and wars. Each record included notes, strategies, and contingency plans, proof that the Void-class prototype had been actively protecting life across the stars, even if its efforts had been invisible. But the most shocking discovery came in the core data chamber. A holographic figure appeared, flickering and incomplete. It spoke in a broken, archaic language, but the AI translated into basic. Guardian, deactivated by Council. Only operator of compatible species may awaken full potential. Warning. Misuse will destroy operator. Evan's pulse raced. The ship had been intentionally disabled. Only someone like him could restore it. He felt the weight of responsibility pressing down on his shoulders. If he failed, the ship could harm him, or worse, be dismantled before it could protect anyone. Outside, the auction station grew chaotic. Alien fleets were sending signals to each other. Some ships moved closer to the docking bay, scanning for weaknesses. Others simply observed, curious about what a human could do with a vessel so advanced. Evan realized he could not wait. He activated the ship's preliminary defensive systems. A faint energy shield enveloped the hull, invisible to the naked eye but strong enough to withstand small-scale attacks. He tested the engines. They hummed like a living creature, responding instantly to his commands. The AI spoke again. Operator. External entities increasing in number. Probability of engagement rising. Recommend evasive maneuvers or extraction plan. Evan shook his head. No, we can't run. Not yet. Let's see what they really want. For the next several hours, Evan ran simulations. The AI taught him how to interface with its systems, adjust shields, manipulate energy flows, and even activate parts of the ship that seemed dormant. With each lesson, the ship became more alive, responding faster, almost anticipating his thoughts. Then, just as he finished a simulation, a signal appeared on the ship's long-range sensors. A fleet of Council warships was entering the system, moving directly toward the auction station.
Evan's stomach tightened. The Council did not negotiate.
They did not bargain. They destroyed or confiscated what they feared. He glanced at the AI. They're coming for us. Confirmed. Operator, prepare for forced engagement. Probability of victory with standard methods, low. Alternative suggested. Human ingenuity? High, the AI said. Evan smiled faintly. That was humans, right there. No alien technology could predict how we would respond. The galaxy had underestimated them for too long. He activated one of the ship's hidden protocols, Project Phantom. Lights along the hull shifted subtly, and the ship's mass began to fluctuate, making it almost invisible to standard sensors. The docking bay doors slid open silently, and the ship prepared for departure. Outside, Council ships closed in. Alien patrols began scanning for any anomalies. The auction station erupted into panic. But the Void-class prototype moved with ghost-like precision. Its adaptive engines allowed it to slip past detection, even as fleets searched for it. Evan's heart pounded. For the first time, he realized the true potential of the ship. It wasn't just a relic. It was a guardian, a weapon, a protector of life, and now it had chosen a human as its operator. Hours passed as he navigated through the station's corridors and into open space. Every maneuver was precise, every calculation carefully adjusted by the AI in tandem with his decisions. They avoided conflict, but not observation. The galaxy now knew a human had awakened the Void-class prototype. Finally, Evan set a course for a nearby neutral system, where he could safely analyze the ship's full capabilities. He took a deep breath. "We did it," he said softly. "We made it out." The AI's lights pulsed. "Operator, mission objective not complete. Threats detected. Multiple. Council and private interests tracking. Estimated time until interception, 36 hours. Evan nodded grimly. "Then, we prepare. We learn. We survive. And then, we show them what humans can do." For the first time, he felt a sense of purpose, larger than any salvage job, larger than any minor profit. Humanity had always been underestimated in the galaxy. Now, with the Void-class prototype, that underestimation would end, and as the ship hummed beneath his hands, responsive and alive, Evan knew the real journey had only just begun. Evan Hale gripped the console as the Void-class prototype surged through space, its engines glowing like liquid starlight. Outside the viewport, the distant lights of the auction station faded into the dark void. But on the long-range sensors, the approaching Council fleets shone bright and relentless. Hundreds of alien warships, sleek and heavily armed, were converging on his position. Evan's pulse raced, but his hands were steady. He had faced countless salvage operations before, often with dangerous wrecks and unstable AI cores. This was different. This time he had something far greater than any alien vessel. He had the ship itself. The Void-class prototype was alive, learning and reacting to him in ways no alien could anticipate. The AI's voice filled the cockpit, calm yet urgent. "Operator, multiple hostile fleets detected. Engagement probability high. Defensive systems optimal, but tactical advantage required. Suggestive action human unpredictability protocol."
Evan nodded. "Good. Then let's show them what humans can do."
He adjusted the ship's shields, a shimmering barrier that bent light and energy around the hull, making it almost invisible to targeting systems. The Void-class prototype shivered in response, as if excited, adapting to Evan's commands with flawless precision. "Operator, adaptive weapon systems online, targeting parameters ready. Recommend selective engagement," the AI said. Evan glanced at the incoming ships. They were fast, armed with plasma cannons, ion disruptors, and gravity torpedoes. Each warship was designed to overwhelm older vessels, but this ship was older and far more advanced than any of them. Its history had been hidden, but now it was ready. He made his first move. A subtle maneuver. Weaving through asteroid debris near the system's edge, the Council ships reacted, firing blindly. Plasma blasts tore through space where Evan had been moments before, but the Void-class prototype had already shifted slightly, twisting its hull in ways the aliens couldn't predict. Each shot missed. Operator trajectory deviation successful. Enemy targeting ineffective, the AI noted. Evan allowed himself a small grin. Humans had a talent aliens didn't always understand. Thinking unpredictably, improvising, and acting against standard patterns. He could use that now. He activated the ship's secondary systems. The hull pulsed, releasing a field of energy that interfered with enemy sensors. Warships blinked out of their targeting computers, appearing and disappearing like ghosts. Some of the alien captains hissed in anger, thinking the ship had slipped into another dimension. Operator, offensive capabilities ready. Suggestion, prioritize threat suppression, the AI continued. Evan thought for a moment. He could fire, but he didn't want to destroy. Not yet. He wanted to show the galaxy humans were not reckless, but humans could fight when needed. He selected a precise strike. Microenergy pulses shot out, striking the engines of the nearest Council frigate. It shuddered, then powered down completely, drifting helplessly. The alien crew panicked, scrambling to regain control, but their systems were jammed.
Operator, perfect execution.
Enemy incapacitated, remaining ships adjusting, the AI reported.
Evan's grin widened. Keep going.
Let's make them rethink humans. The Void-class prototype moved with grace, shifting through space as if it were alive. Its adaptive shields flared, absorbing attacks before they could damage the hull. The alien fleets fired relentlessly, but every move Evan made was unpredictable. Humans had something no alien fleet could calculate: intuition, creativity, and a willingness to risk everything when the stakes were high. In the control room, holographic displays lit up with incoming data. Ships were being disabled one by one, not destroyed, but neutralized. Alien captains were screaming at each other, arguing over tactics, but every calculation failed. The human operator was doing something no one had expected. Evan paused. He knew this could escalate quickly. The Void-class prototype was powerful, but against hundreds of ships, he couldn't sustain a direct fight forever.
AI, he said, we need a plan.
Something the Council won't see coming. The AI responded after a moment of calculation. Operator, recommend strategic withdrawal. Suggestive action. Human negotiation leverage. Evan raised an eyebrow. Leverage? Display of capabilities. Non-lethal dominance. Human intervention creates new alliance potential, the AI explained. Evan understood. They didn't need to destroy the fleet. They just needed to prove humans were a force to be reckoned with. He activated the ship's communication system, broadcasting a message in multiple languages directly to the Council fleet. This is Evan Hale, human operator of the Void-class prototype. Cease hostilities immediately. I do not wish to destroy your ships. I seek only to protect life. Any further aggression will be met with force. For a moment, there was silence. Then a ripple of confusion passed through the alien fleet. No human had ever commanded such a legendary vessel. No human had ever spoken to them with authority and confidence. The Void-class prototype pulsed in response, sending a subtle wave of energy through space. A warning. The fleet felt it. Sensors went haywire, weapons misfired, and alien crews panicked. One of the Council admirals, a massive reptilian being with scarred scales, barked orders. Do not underestimate the human! Fire everything! But before they could obey, Evan made a sudden move. The ship shifted, deploying holographic decoys of itself across the battlefield. Hundreds of ghostly ships now appeared, weaving and dodging the alien weapons. The real ship moved unseen, targeting key systems without destruction, simply showing its power. The Council forces began to falter. They had never faced anything like this. Alien tactics were rigid, predictable, and their fleets were designed to overwhelm by numbers, not adaptability. Evan, a single human, was rewriting the rules. Operator. Effectiveness rate 87%. Enemy morale decreasing, the AI reported. Evan felt a surge of pride. Humans had always been underestimated. In battle, in exploration, in innovation, they had always been dismissed as newcomers. And yet here they were, standing against a galactic council fleet with nothing but skill, courage, and a ship that had waited centuries for the right operator. But even as he celebrated, Evan knew the danger was not over. The council would not let this go. They would regroup, plan, and return with reinforcements. The galaxy was watching now. He made a decision. "We need allies," he said to the Eye. "Not just to fight, but to survive." The AI projected a galactic map. Operator suggested course neutral systems. Potential for alliance with multiple species. Probability of successful negotiation. Moderate.
Evan nodded. "Then let's go."
We'll show the galaxy humans are not just survivors. We are protectors. We are innovators, and we will not be ignored. As they jumped to warp, Evan looked back at the Council fleet. The Void-class prototype shimmered in the void, its hull alive with energy. It had not fired a single destructive shot, yet it had neutralized hundreds of ships. Alien fleets would tell stories about this day for decades. "Operator, status update," the AI said. "We're not done yet," Evan replied. "This is only the beginning. Humanity stands its ground, and the galaxy is about to realize we are more than they ever thought." Outside, stars streaked past as they moved to the neutral system. Evan knew challenges awaited. Alien spies, council enforcers, and unknown threats lurking in unexplored regions. But for the first time, he felt the true potential of humanity. No alien had ever dared underestimate humans, until now. The Void-class prototype pulsed softly, responding to Evan's determination. It was more than a ship. It was a symbol. A living testament that humans could rise, adapt, and command even the most ancient, powerful technologies. And as they entered the neutral system, Evan realized the next steps were clear. He had to unlock the full potential of the ship, gather allies, and prepare for the Council's inevitable return. Humanity had entered the galactic stage, not as observers, but as players. Evan took a deep breath. He felt a surge of pride, fear, and excitement all at once. The galaxy had underestimated humans for too long. It would learn, and the Void-class prototype, alive and loyal to its operator, would ensure it. Evan Hale stared at the holographic map projected in the Void-class prototype's core chamber. Hundreds of star systems stretched before him, some marked in bright gold, the worlds the ship had once protected. He could see the paths of ancient threats, the traces of long-forgotten wars, and the locations of planets still in danger. The Galactic Council had underestimated him. They had believed that one human, no matter how clever, could never command a ship like this. They had been wrong. The neutral system ahead was quiet, a sparse collection of planets and stations far from Council control. Evan had chosen it wisely. Here, he could regroup, repair the ship, and plan his next move. He needed allies, species that would recognize humans as more than newcomers, species that would stand beside him when the Council came again. The AI's voice broke the silence. "Operator, sensors detect multiple vessels approaching from unknown vectors. Unknown fleets, potentially hostile." Evan's pulse quickened, but he didn't panic. "Prepare the ship. Shields to maximum. Ready all defensive systems. Keep it non-lethal if possible." The Void-class prototype hummed with life, responding instantly. Energy flares ran along the hull, adaptive shields rippling outward. Holographic interfaces activated, displaying the incoming fleets in full detail. These were not Council vessels. They were alien mercenaries, bounty hunters, and private fleets hoping to claim the legendary ship for themselves. Evan smirked. "So they've heard about us already. Good. Let's show them what humans can do." The ship's adaptive weapons pulsed, but Evan held his hands off the controls. He didn't want destruction. Not yet. The AI seemed to understand. It adjusted the shields and engines, creating a series of subtle decoys around the ship. The fleets approached, confident, only to find that their sensors betrayed them. Targets flickered, vanished, and reappeared.
Operator!
Enemy morale decreasing, confusion rising, tactical advantage, human unpredictability. Evan leaned back. The galaxy had expected humans to be weak, slow, and easy to manipulate. They had not counted on ingenuity. They had not counted on courage, and they had certainly not counted on a human operating a ship older and more advanced than anything alive today. As the first group of hostile ships moved to attack, Evan activated a subtle warning pulse. It spread through space as a wave of energy, disabling weapon systems without damaging hulls. Ships spun helplessly, unable to fire. Some fled in panic. Others stopped, their crews staring at the sudden loss of control. "Impressive," Evan muttered. "You're learning fast," the AI pulsed in agreement. "Operator, full potential may be unlocked. Suggestive action, exposure of counsel, deception to all present." Evan's eyes narrowed. This was the moment. If he could show the galaxy why the Void-class prototype had been hidden, why the Council had tried to suppress it, humans would gain allies and respect. He activated the ship's historical projection system, a feature that had never been used in centuries. Holograms of ancient conflicts appeared in the void of space. Entire civilizations rose and fell. Star systems faced annihilation. And in every instance, the ship had intervened, protecting life against overwhelming threats. The alien fleets watched in awe. They had expected a human to be weak, small, and fragile. Instead, a single human and his legendary ship were displaying centuries of knowledge, advanced technology, and undeniable power. Then the communication channels opened automatically. Messages poured in from all nearby systems, from civilizations that had once been protected by the ship's guardians. For the first time, voices of gratitude and recognition filled the void. Humans, worthy of respect. "The operator is not alone. We will stand with them. The Council cannot control the galaxy if they ignore those who protect life." Evan felt a surge of pride. Humanity had always been underestimated, laughed at, and ignored. Now the galaxy was beginning to see them for what they were. Protectors, innovators, and survivors capable of greatness. The Council would not accept this. He knew they would send reinforcements. Their pride would not allow retreat. But he also knew something else. The galaxy had changed. Alien species were no longer blindly loyal to the Council. They had seen proof that humans could act decisively, ethically, and powerfully. "AI," Evans said, "prepare for Council arrival. Let's make sure they understand. Humans don't back down. And we don't need permission to protect life, and we will not allow the Council to destroy what protects life." There was silence. Then alien fleets that had once feared the Council began to speak, offering support. "Humans are right," one voice said. "The Council hides knowledge. We will not obey blindly." Another added, "We will stand with those who protect life. The operator has our trust." Evans smiled. Humanity had allies now. The galaxy had witnessed what humans could do, not through brute force, but through intelligence, courage, and morality. The Council realized it had lost. Their threats held no weight against a united galaxy. The Void-class prototype's presence had shifted the balance. Humans were no longer underestimated. They were leaders, innovators, and protectors. Evan felt the ship's pulse beneath his hands, as if it shared his triumph. "Birdos, we did it," he whispered. "We showed them." Humanity is not to be ignored. The Council representatives, defeated and humiliated, retreated. Their fleets followed, carefully avoiding further confrontation. The galaxy was quiet again, but this time it was different. Something had changed. Evan looked out at the stars. The Void-class prototype floated silently, alive and responsive. For centuries it had waited for someone capable, someone brave, someone human. Now, it had found its operator. "Operator, mission objective complete," the AI said softly. "Future operations may expand with Allied support. Galactic impact, significant. Humanity, recognized." Evan nodded, feeling a sense of accomplishment deeper than anything he had experienced before. Humanity had arrived, not by chance, not by force, but by courage, ingenuity, and compassion. He turned back to the ship's core. "We have work to do," he said. "There are worlds that need protection, civilizations that need guidance, and a galaxy that will never underestimate humans again." The ship pulsed in agreement. Its lights glowed warmly, as if proud of its operator. Evan felt a deep bond forming. This ship was no longer just a vessel. It was a partner, a guardian, and a symbol of everything humans could achieve. Together, they would explore, protect, and reshape the galaxy. For the first time in centuries, the Void-class prototype was fully awake, and humanity was finally seen as more than mere newcomers. Evan Hale took a deep breath. The galaxy stretched before him, full of unknown stars and uncharted worlds. He was no longer alone. Humanity had allies. The Void-class prototype had a purpose again. And together, they would ensure that life, freedom, and courage would never be ignored in the galaxy. The stars sparkled like a promise, and humanity, for the first time, stood at the center of it all. By then, every alien fleet, every council agent, every opportunist in the system would know about the ship. Evan sat in the pilot's chair. He placed his hands on the controls, feeling the hum of power beneath his fingertips. "This ship, it's not just metal," he whispered. "It's alive, and it's mine." A faint pulse ran through the deck. The AI responded. "Operator, prepare. Threats approaching. Time limited." Evan's jaw tightened. He didn't know what was coming, but he knew one thing. The galaxy had never met humans like him before, and the Void-class prototype was about to show them. The auction station continued its chaos outside. Traders shouted, fleets maneuvered, and distant lights flashed. But inside the ship, Evan felt calm. For the first time, he had a real advantage. He wasn't just a human in a galaxy of aliens. He was the chosen operator of a legendary starship. And the story was only beginning. Evan Hale did not sleep that night. He stayed aboard the Void-class prototype, walking through its silent halls, studying every panel and console. The ship seemed to breathe around him, its lights pulsing faintly, as if waiting for him to understand it. Every step he took revealed something new. Corridors that adjusted their layout, doors that opened without touch, and panels that seemed to read his thoughts before he pressed a button. He realized the ship was not just a machine. It was alive in some way humans could barely understand. The AI had begun communicating more clearly now. Its voice was calm, neutral, but occasionally it trembled with hesitation, like it was unsure if humans could be trusted. "Operator, vital systems awakening," it said softly. Evan nodded. "I understand. But I need to know everything about this ship. Can you tell me?" The AI paused. Then words appeared on a holographic screen floating in front of him. Ship designation, Void-class prototype. The Void-class prototype hummed and pulsed, preparing its full systems for the first time in centuries. Shields flared, engines glowed, and energy flows adjusted as if the ship itself understood the gravity of what was about to happen. Hours later, the Council fleet arrived. Massive warships, heavily armed and imposing, spread across the system. The admirals were confident. They had crushed rebellions before. They had destroyed fleets. They believed that one human, even with an ancient ship, could never withstand their might. Evan did not flinch. He touched the main console. "Show them who we are." The ship responded instantly. A wave of energy pulsed outward, enveloping the Council ships. Sensors jammed, weapons misfired. Engines faltered. Without a single shot fired, the Void-class prototype demonstrated its superiority. "Operator Council effectiveness reduced by 92%, the AI reported. Evan activated the final protocol. Full revelation of the ship's purpose. Holographic projections appeared around each Council vessel. Images of civilizations, once at the brink of extinction, filled their viewports. The ship's logs exposed every cover-up, every suppression, every act the Council had committed to maintain control.
The alien admirals gasped. The galaxy had never seen such transparency.
The Council's lies were laid bare, their authority shaken, and at the center of it all was a human, a single human, standing with a ship older and wiser than any Council vessel.
Operator, recommended action, negotiation, the AI suggested.
Evan nodded, agreed.
Let them speak, but make it clear we are not afraid.
Humanity stands its ground. Communication channels opened. Council representatives, voices trembling, demanded that Evans surrender the ship. They threatened war, sanctions, and exile.
Evans stood tall. I will not surrender this ship.
It is not a weapon for conquest. It is a guardian.